Will WWE be bad in 2026? Fucking looks like it. Look, for a number of years, WWE had a lot of momentum from a backlog of the Bloodline story, from Cody Rhodes' return to his ascension, to finishing the story, which took not one but two WrestleManias, mind you. The return of The Rock, NXT becoming exciting again for a period of time, their women's division catching fire and having the best matches of multiple WrestleManias and SummerSlams, mind you. There was a streak going on up until early 2025. Year started strong with Jey Uso winning the Rumble. And we didn't know he had such a ceiling of a wrestler at the time, so it was very exciting. And then Cena winning the Chamber and turning heel, and then the wheels really fell off. Uninspired booking resulted in WWE in 2025 being arguably successful, not because of, but in spite of itself. Don't get me wrong, it still has great talent, but the booking just isn't there, at least from Hunter Hearst Helmsley's perspective. But 2026 might not be as good of a year. Now, from the offset, without Cena's retirement to lean on, I can imagine ticket sales will take a hit. For example, Elimination Chamber last year in 2025 was a stadium show with 38,000 people. This year's Chamber show will be in Chicago at 19,000 maximum capacity. Currently, they only stand at 12,500, which for WWE, that's a pretty low number and a steep drop-off. Now, that said, let's go back to Monday Night Raw, right? The very first Raw of January 5th, right? Initially, they had only sold about 9,000 tickets, which for an anniversary show on Raw for the first Raw of the year is pretty disappointing. They then teased Jericho was going to be returning, and then boom, they shipped 3,000 tickets, which obviously, as of now, Jericho has not shown up on Raw. So, I mean, short-term win, sure, but the next time they go, there's 3,000 people that are going to be pissed that Jericho didn't show up, and they may not buy tickets next time. That's just one example. WrestleMania in Vegas is not faring much better, but bear in mind, last year's Mania in Vegas was technically the least attended per night since WrestleMania 22, excluding COVID Mania, of course. Without an anchor on par of Cena as far as like his retirement tour, what's left? I mean, it feels like Triple H has a habit of stretching stories out. Is really running thin, at least with the patience of the fans. Breaker lost to Punk in the Upside Down Raw match, which, I mean, he'll most likely win at Mania, but how is it exciting if we see it coming this far away? We can see the booking coming a mile away, and the predictability of the product is arguably doing the most damage. Because we know the title changes really only happen at the Big Four, arguably only the Big Two with Mania and SummerSlam, why get invested in the B shows? Why get invested in the feuds? Or why get invested on Monday Night Raw? Because we all know the match hasn't really started until interference happens, and then the match is actually going to get going. It's just, it's not a good thing. In addition, SmackDown's moving to 3 hours, which, granted, that will give them a lot more advertising money, but no one wants the job of booking SmackDown in 3 hours. Their talent pool isn't that deep. Granted, they have multiple call-ups coming in from NXT, but then what's going to happen on that front? It's a lot of things going on there. Matches have become formulaic with interference spots. It feels, and it will be interesting to see if fan sentiment is communicated properly to Hunter. But as long as TKO continues to turn a massive profit, nothing's really going to change, I guess. But that stems into what's going to come. If ticket sales begin to drop off, they can blame Cena's retirement and be like, oh, well, last year was a banner year because we had the retirement tour of Cena. But that does lead to question, without him, what's going to happen next? I mean, you can only blame it for so long. TKO will eventually want someone to answer for these low ticket sales, for this drop-off in monetary value. And what's going to happen? Also, if you notice, Triple H has been kind of dipping his head in politics, which, right here, just making that point. Triple H has been dipping his head in politics, particularly the Trump administration. It'll be interesting to see what if Triple H steps down from WWE before he can be fired. And what happens to Shawn? Does he get brought up to the main roster? And then Punk runs NXT? Does Brian Gewirtz, The Rock's personal writer, step in to run WWE Creative? Or Paul Heyman? It'll be interesting to see. 2026 might not be the best year for WWE, and I understand I'm an AEW mark, so of course I'm going to be saying shit like this. It's just, from an objective standpoint, I wonder how this is going to go. We'll see.